the channel. Today we're going to cover some information on the back. We're going to talk about the exercises that I like to do during my training. Since I train twice a week, I'm going to include a few more than normal that you would do on one given day. Then I'll mention a few honorable mentions, and I'm going to explain to you why I train these and what order I train in. But before that, today is my wife's birthday, and I'd like to say happy birthday to her. And without further ado, a message from her.
Hi everybody, if you like what you see, comment, subscribe, and share. Have a great day. Bye.
Before I start talking about all the training exercises that I do, I'd like to tell you a couple things. First off, anything vertical is width. Anything horizontal is thickness. Form is critical for the back. You cannot see your back. You have to be careful with your back. If you're older or injured, please keep that in mind. I always suggest warming up the back. I will go over that in a second. Now let's take a look at this back diagram. What I want you to take away from this is there's a whole lot going on. Also, the back part of the shoulder, which is called the posterior deltoid, needs to be considered. Do you want to train that on back day or shoulder day? I prefer to train it on back day. This next picture is going to give you an idea of just some of the attachments that you can use to train back. Let's get right into this. I always start with hyperextension. I'm older, I've been injured, I do about 20 reps at a slow cadence. This next exercise is perfect to warm the shoulder up and give some detail to the teres major. What I do is I abduct my arms, my elbows at a 90, and I externally rotate, hold, and then come down slow. My first working exercise is a kneeling bilateral cable pulls. Kneeling, as opposed to supported or sitting, challenges my core more so. The stretch at the top of the movement is perfect. As I bring my arms towards my body, I try to bring my elbows to the back pockets of my pants, and I squeeze. I return to the starting position slower than I pulled and repeat. I can go rather heavy on this exercise. Keep in mind, I do pre-exhaustion techniques because over the years I've become rather strong and I do work out independently. This next vertical movement is a seated pull down. I like my hands pronated, which is over the bar, with a slightly wider than shoulder width grip. As I pull down, I slightly lean back, which will put the bar about 6 inches in front. I squeeze and slowly return to the start position. My rep cadence creates a smooth rhythm. I also finish with one vertical set, starting with my weakest arm. One of the more difficult exercises to master is this rhomboid shrug. I suggest you start light. This is a great rhomboid trap exercise, guys. As I shrug my right side, I simultaneously retract my scapula, which means I'm moving it towards the midline, the other side. I squeeze hard and I slowly return to the start position. Learn to relax the arm as well. This exercise is a behind the back shrug in a Smith machine. It hits the traps at a different angle and allows me to go heavy. These rack pulls are excellent to go heavy and not over-challenge the low back like a deadlift would going heavy, because I have injured my back many times from the military to car wrecks. I'm just playing it smart. Here I'm doing a unilateral bent over row. I like finishing with this one because it really allows me to extend in the start position, and I try to bring my elbow to my back pocket. Now I do finish with a pull-up, and if I'm struggling, I'll go to the pull-up assisted machine and I'll have a go. It's not out of the norm for me to do these after my warm-up sets for a pre-exhaustion type technique movements. Now I'm going to show you a few more exercises that I do that I actually substitute for some of the exercises that you've seen. I do this every 2 weeks so I stay interested and engaged in what I'm doing. And you should too. This first one is a cable rope pull down. This I usually substitute for seated pull downs. I prefer to use the rope because it allows me to go deeper into the contraction where using a bar would stop once it hits the front of my body. This next one is a bent over row that engages my back from the start position all the way through the movement. I'll usually switch this one out for one of my rowing exercises. I do enjoy a unilateral cable pull down kneeling in the kneeling position. This position challenges my core and allows me to isolate and concentrate on one side. I sub this out for one of my vertical exercises. Here are a few back machines to take a look at. I suggest you try all these and find out if any of them work for you. I always use lifting straps when I train my back. My back will always outlast my forearms. Now to bring it all home. You saw that I did 2 exercises for warm-up. I'll always do hyperextensions and some form of external rotation for the shoulder. I always start with vertical movements first, and then I move on to horizontal. I will do some pre-exhaustion things sometimes with a superset for vertical because I can lift heavy. And so if I do rows, I don't have to lift as heavy because I exhausted myself earlier. Now, I do change my schedule, my lifting schedule, every 2 weeks. I suggest you take a look at that and consider doing the same because I don't like always doing the same exercises. They sometimes hit at different angles and it keeps me engaged. I make it specific, and so should you. Have a good day.